What's the motherfucking deal, Sauce Nation? It's your boy Ed Honcho, aka at the real Ed Honcho on Instagram and Twitter. If you want those Houston only sports takes, then you can follow me on Sauce Sports HTX or at Sauce Sports HTX on Twitter. This is a Sauce Sports special. If you don't know what Sauce Sports is a Houston Homer channel. So I mean, we only talk about HTOWN teams. So we talking Texans, we talking Rockets, we talking Astros, we talking about the Dynamo, we talking about the Dash, we talking collegiate. So that means the Cougs, the Owls, TSU, PV. Yeah, PV's in there. I don't know if we'll have to decide on that. But anyway, like I say, we talk about H-Town related sports events, H-Town athletes, anything that's Houston related. We're going to put some sauce on it. We're going to put that flavor on it. You know what I'm saying? So even if it's an athlete who just happened to come through Houston, John Bones Jones was in the city the other day for a couple of days. I might have to put some sauce on him, but he ain't doing anything eventful. But anyway, today we're talking about the Houston Texans. As you can see, we're not in NRG today, so it's a rainy day outside. It's kind of gloomy. Thought I'd change it up just a bit, just to be representative of how the weather is outside. So if you're out there, be careful because it's not too pretty. But anyway, we're talking Texans today, and we're going to talk about the hot topic that everybody's curious about right now, which is Jeremy Maclin getting released from KC. Okay, so. Couple of things we got to consider before we get into this. Let's talk about Jeremy Maclin. Guy's a talented receiver, been very talented for a long time. A guy that you would probably want to have on your team. I think there's some pros and cons, and I think that although he is a very talented guy, I think there's a few things we need to look at before we, want to jump on the Maclin train. But it's like I say, it's not a guy that would hurt to have on your squad. Like I say, he's going to bring some depth and bring some talent, some things like that. So people were asking my opinion about it. And to just really get out the way, I don't think Maclin would be a good fit for the Texans and what we have going on right now, simply because I feel like if you're really getting your guys in there now, you're trying to develop something. Maclin, he's not going to be a number one. We already know who number one is. So as a number two guy who is supposed to be, your second year player, Will Fuller, I think that would be creates a situation that hinders his development. And especially as a first rounder, you invested a lot into him to get him. And to go and say, okay, well, you had an all right rookie year with a horrible quarterback. We're just going to go ahead and get this other guy in and we're going to set you on the back burner for a little bit. I don't think that would be a wise move. But not only because of that, there's a few other concerns that I have with Jeremy Maclin, not the player per se, I guess you could say, but just, his history health-wise. Dude's only played, just going into his 9th season, only had 2 full seasons. Of course, a couple of those were just a few games, like one game missed, a couple of games missed, but still, you never know how important each individual game is, and if I can't count on you to be on there for a full season, then, I don't know. But here's the thing with Jeremy Maclin. He does bring instant talent, definitely a guy you could depend on a bit more than Will if you do want to give Will the time to develop. Now, that's what I'm saying. So if they are interested in doing something like that, bringing in a high-level guy, or if they think maybe one of the younger guys isn't coming along the way they want, but from all accounts, you're hearing that these guys are progressing and doing much better. That second year, that's a big jump, that you have a little bit more comfort when you come in because you're familiar with the process. But I think you go and get a guy like Maclin, you're going to hinder some of those guys like Miller and Fuller, who you've invested in. Now, here's to say, I wouldn't say if you could get him for a good price, a good contract, then hey, maybe you take that, you run with that, and you do what's best for the team. But I just don't know because, like I say, he has a couple of injury concerns. He had a scare, I think. I can't remember. It seemed like it was just a couple of years ago. I remember him being sitting out for, you had a cancer scare, I believe, or it was a blood issue or something. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I remember a few years back that being a thing. He missed a season with an injury. But like I say, he's only had 2 full seasons that he's played 16 games. And to me, that's something, maybe a slight durability concern. Like I say, he's getting older. Last year, a steep drop in production from what, you're kind of used to seeing from the guy. I just don't think that Jeremy Maclin is the best move for the Texans. But like I said, that's just my opinion. So what do you, at this point, I want to get your opinion. And at this point, I want to tell you, if you're liking what we're talking about, if you're liking the sauce, if you like the flavor, you need to go ahead and subscribe to the channel, because like I said, I try to talk Texans every day, Monday through Friday, but we're going to talk HTOWN sports pretty much every day. You know what I mean? But with that being said, what do you think? What do you guys think about Maclin? How do you feel that what could he bring to the team? Now, I think that, like I say, I don't know, it could have just been a situation. It could have been a bit of a aberration that last year, he was kind of out of whack, but it could be a sign of things to come. Sometimes those popular names have definitely bitten us in the past, and we don't have to speak some of those names, some of those Hall of Famers that came through and did nothing and stole a bunch of money from us. But I'm not saying that would be the same situation, but what I'm thinking is, I don't know if you really want to take a risk on a guy who could have some durability issues when you have a nice young core of guys who are producing, increasing. You got West there being hands-on. I think Maclin adds a lot of age to that group too. Maclin, I think he would be the oldest receiver by, about 4 or 5 years. So I don't think that's what you do. I don't think you go backwards in that aspect, because you have veterans around. Like I say, it's almost like, even though he's not playing, Wes is basically a veteran on the field for you, because he's getting directly with those guys, and he can tell them, hey, I see this and do that, and get hands-on, not getting all specific and everything, but can get more hands-on with those guys and, work with them, as opposed to, you just bringing in an older guy just for him to be there, just to say, okay, we're going to give him, veteran minimum or whatever it may be, and and just to have him on the team. You got that already with West. So I don't know about Maclin. Like I said, I'm not really high on it. I hear a lot of people saying that there's interest, and of course there's always going to be interest when a big name or a popular name gets out there. Because he's done well with Casey's done well with the Eagles. So my thing is, I'm not going to get on I'm not on the hype on this one. I'm not. I wouldn't even really kick the tires on it, because I think what you have right now is good. You work with it and you learn to develop with it, because I think that he's a short-term deal at best. Like I said, getting up in age, as far as football terms is concerned, but I really wouldn't waste time with it. I hear a lot of people talking about, like I said, it's a good name. You want to hear that name. It would be nice to have to hear that Maclin and Maclin and Hopkins, or excited. That's a nice. The name sounds good, but does that name still have the same value that it once had? I think that's where we got to start looking at it and really consider that. Now, like I say, if you can get it for a good deal on a short term, get it for a good price on a short term deal, then maybe so. But who knows what he's looking for? Who knows what he's asking for? Maybe he's realizing that there's something. Maybe, like I say, they know something out there. They let him go for a reason. They know something that we don't know. Teams are usually pretty knowledgeable about these things. They see a lot of things before athletes are willing to admit that there's a decline, or that, and these little workouts and things like that. Okay, that's cool for a short burst to check him out. Okay, yeah, he performs at a high level. Then it gets back to getting into practice, and it gets back to having to do this long term. You start seeing signs of decline and wear and tear and things like that. So, I don't know. I see the good in it. I see the bad in it. I don't really. But I lean more to no. I wouldn't even really waste time with it. I focus on what we have and go. Now, of course, we did just release Humphreys, and you just let go of a receiver. It could be a nice addition to bring one in. I just think that I think it's counterproductive. because, like I said, there's a lot of youth on the Texans, and you got a lot of guys who are getting better, are going to get better each year. I think by bringing in Maclin, you got a guy who's kind of already reached his prime. I think he's going to start declining, and I could be wrong. This is just my opinion, but I definitely believe that he's on the decline. If you just kind of look at what he did last year, he really didn't. But then there was a lot of other options out there, and where it was. So I just have to say no. But I know a lot of you guys are eager, and like I said, a lot of guys hear the name, and I know a lot of people hear that Jeremy Maclin, and so they want to run with it and say, let's check him out. It doesn't hurt to look at him, but I'm just really not high on him. But like I say, I can't. He's, like I say, he's going into his 9th season. He's 29. Like I say, he's still talented, and that veteran presence is good, but I don't see it. I don't really see it. Like I say, so because he's gonna have to come in too, and he's gonna have to pick up that offense and some other stuff. Like I said, so I don't just see him coming in and just being that guy automatically. There's just a few other things, but I'm not gonna go into that. I want to know you guys' opinion. I want to know your opinion. I want to know what SauceNation feels. Like I say, I know a couple of you guys have commented already and said, what about Maclin? Well, should we take a flyer on him? Like I say, I just don't think so. But I want to know what you guys. Like I say, this is a commentary. I'm just a fan talking to the fans, and we talking about our favorite teams. What I'm saying? We talking about our city. So you guys let me know what you think. Do you think that going for Maclin would be a temporary upgrade over Fuller? Do you think that would be a better option, and then that gives Fuller another year to develop without as much pressure on him? Do you think that the Texans have spent too much on a pick for Fuller, so that they need to go ahead and get some production out of him? And like I say, I see an improvement in Fuller. I know that there's going to be an improvement in Fuller. I know I've been hard on him on a lot of these videos, but I know for a fact that there's going to be an improvement in Fuller. And do you give him that shot? Does Maclin take away from that? Like I say, you guys let me know how you feel. There's so many other angles that we could talk about, but, like I say, I want to know what you guys think. Again, I'm the Real Ed Honcho, or at the Real Ed Honcho. I'm Ed Honcho, but you can follow me at the Real Ed Honcho on Instagram and Twitter. Please subscribe to the channel if you like what we're talking about. Like I say, it's Houston sports only. If you're not a fan of Houston, every Houston team, then you might not like some of the things that go on. But hey, if you like one Houston team, then check that out. I try to make sure the videos are marked so you don't get into something you might not want to be into. I try to be considerate a little bit. But anyway, SauceNation, like I say, steadily growing. I think we didn't hit over the 800 mark, and like I say, every day that I see a just one increase is amazing to me. So I appreciate that, man. I really appreciate that love, because I didn't expect this. And so, like I say, with that kind of growth, I want to improve, and I want to do better and make things better with each video that I do. So, like I say, I always welcome your comments, constructive criticisms, anything like that. But with that being said, SauceNation, y'all be cool. Y'all be safe out there in this weather. If you're not in Houston, whatever you got going on, I hope y'all having a great day. Make it a magic Monday, all that good stuff. But with that being said,